Welcome back to Fresh Talks. I'm here with Naomi Turner, who's from Pink Sky. She's the managing director of Pink Sky, a fabulous company based in southwest England.
Thank you.
And a company that has the creative juices flowing at all times.
We try.
to sell products and to help people explain what they do
Yes.
to consumers and to business. You founded the company 10 years ago this year, I believe.
Yes, that's right. Yes, our 10th
tell
birthday.
us why did you decide to set up a company like Pink Sky?
I suppose we're quite well known as a company for our creativity, and it's something that I see has such increasing importance nowadays to try and everybody wants to stand out in the market, and actually that's a very hard thing to do. The lovely thing about setting up a company that has your own values behind it, just really enables you to customize what you do for your clients. And I think we've really, we've had so much fun just getting to know what other people do, and we see ourselves as sort of visual communicators. So we really try to learn about what people do, and we try to tell other people what that is, whether that's through branding, packaging, the graphic design elements, or whether it's through marketing and taking that message out there.
Okay.
And I think my vision really was to just try to do that in a slightly different way, a highly creative way, a fun way, and a way that people could really relate to and engage with.
Yeah.
So that's our hope.
Well, it's funny, isn't it, when you're at a business conference, when somebody mentions fun, everyone starts feeling guilty because they're not supposed to have
Yes,
fun
that's right.
at events.
Yeah.
We've tried to change that, and it seems like you're doing that. You've done work, for example, for M&S, a
Yes.
fabulous campaign called Adventures in Fruit.
Yes.
And that was very much about the fun and enjoyment of
Yeah.
produce.
Yes.
Tell us about your experiences there.
Okay,
What happened?
that was a really lovely project actually, because by taking it out of the corporate structure, we decided to pitch that project from the point of view of the growers and the suppliers, which really enabled them to tell their story. And the thing about fresh produce is it's a lovely sector. You know, it's very colourful. There's some really nice products, there's great stories out there, and there's some really interesting innovations in farming. So by taking it out of the confines of what we were allowed to do in M&S and doing it from the point of view of the growers looking in, we were able to do some much more creative things. So we ended up, we sent a fig into space. We worked with an aerobatic wing walking team, and we had people with rocket apples on aeroplanes.
Oh, amazing.
But also we went and did consumer shows, and the real focus of that project was to try and get the fruit out of the store to show people how great it was, so that they would then come into the store, because we recognised that the produce that M&S has is very, very good, but it wasn't being talked about outside of the stores.
Yeah. So what's the aim of when clients come to you? What is it they want to achieve in getting you to be creative and show them off in the best way? What's the end goal for them?
It really varies per client, but I think one of the biggest struggles in the area of produce is the sort of commodity element of what they sell. It's a lot to ask of a consumer to say, you know, we want if your product is one of 20 that I've put in my basket, you know, I want this to really stand out. And I think, you know, everybody's goal ultimately is more sales and exposure. So I think a lot of people, when they come to us, they're in sort of a difficult place. They've realised that either their company's grown and their communication hasn't followed, or they've realised that they're up against some really stiff competition, and they somehow need to make their product stand out. And they've discovered that the only way to do that is to try something completely new, something a bit more creative, or something, they've got to be a bit more daring with the idea of branding or colours or something that's going to make them stand out a bit more.
Understood. I think from the point of view of a lot of people in the fresh produce industry, taking a campaign and making it successful is quite an overwhelming challenge.
Yes, it is.
And it can be quite difficult. I know that you've done some other work, some very good work for Zespri, for example, on the kiwi fruit side. You've worked with other customers. And we caught up recently, didn't we, in Belgium? And you were looking at tomatoes. And,
I was.
How did you find that experience? What were you doing there on the ground? How were you putting together that work?
It was fascinating. I think what I've learned from a few years now of working in fresh produce is that there's so many similarities across the different products, and even sort of into flowers and other areas of things that are sold in a fresh way, I suppose. So we went out to Belgium and to Holland to look at innovations in the tomato industry. and really to learn about how the trends that we see in marketing are being implemented over there in other countries as the business changes shape. So we're making a couple of videos to show here. In Belgium, we are particularly struck by their forward-thinking sort of collaborative approach to growing and selling tomatoes. You know, the pattern of sales has changed quite significantly over there, with the focus moving from auction houses to retailers with their year-round supply demands and so on. And then the De Ruyter Experience Centre in Rotterdam, they look particularly at growing patterns, resistance patterns, and developing really resilient varieties of tomato that will sort of answer consumer needs, such as being able to buy loose products without it all falling apart in your hands, and also just looking at really tomatoes that are going to withstand environmental pressures better. So it's a very interesting place.
Did you find it interesting? Because
I
know you've looked around a lot of factories. I know that for a fact, and you've seen some wonderful products, things like the Brompton bicycles. You've been there. So you've seen lots of industries, not just produce. One of the things that struck me when I saw you working there, it was at Hoogstraten, was your ability to use lots of different technology. So, for example, you weren't just like me with an iPhone videoing a few things, recording, taking pictures. You were using, the drone springs to mind. You were using a drone there. You were using all manner of kind of lenses and, you know, on the digital camera. And then you also had the world's smallest kind of handheld, smaller than a GoPro. It was a little video camera. Is that one of your advantages, that you know all the tech? You know how to use all these tools?
I think the struggle we have is that new things come out all the time, and it's really difficult to keep up with. But actually, one of the things I've learned in sort of working in the visual industries for a long time is that just having one perspective on something really narrows what you're capable of producing. So actually with the tiny camera, you know, you can sort of get inside machinery and look at it from that perspective. And using the drone, you know, you can really show off the scale of somebody's business because you're looking from above, and you just gain these perspectives that you wouldn't otherwise see.
And these are kind of devices or tools or ways of working that a lot of people wouldn't necessarily know about or think about, and understandably, because they're doing what they do in their business, they're producing their products, but how can I get people to see this in an exciting way? And that's clearly where you have something to offer, right?
Yeah, we try to. I mean, I think what I love is that you get the ability to show people their business in a way that maybe even they haven't seen it before.
Right. So they're surprised when they see
I hope
these
so.
results
Well, it's nice to show people how good what they do is, and that's a lovely opportunity to have. And you know, we're very privileged to have that technology that enables us to do that for people.
Great. Yeah, and it means you've got nice toys to play with.
Yes, always fun. Yeah.
Right, well, Naomi, thank you so much for sharing the time
You're welcome.
today.
Thank you for having me.
Keep up the good work, and
Will
we
do.
look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. Okay, stay tuned for more Fresh Talks. We'll be back soon.